recording, put that on there for 5 seconds so they can see what they, does anybody have any questions? Has anybody looked at the test and the homework? Doesn't everything turn on? I mean, doesn't the last test and the final exam, does it turn off on the 28th?
Yes.
Okay, so it's already up and everything's good to go. I think
Yes,
there's
sir.
only 25 questions. Can't remember, but I don't think there's 33. I think there's 25. Okay, so that takes care of that. Scientific notation. I'm going to turn my video off so we can get some kind of bandwidth going here. Let me turn my phone off of wireless. So nothing on in my house is wireless right now except for this laptop. So that should be there. Okay, scientific notation. I'm going to go over this, and a lot of you should know it, but I'm going to go over it anyway. Scientific notation. I'm going to give you a Hubertism definition because a lot of people don't understand the regular definition. Placing the decimal to the right, of the first number greater than 0. Scientific notation is used for very big numbers and very small numbers to where you can manage them. Most students, and I'll tell you this, most students can change this 0, 0, 9 to a scientific notation. Most students can change 10,442. Can change that into scientific notation. Most students can take 2.014 times 10 to the third and change that into regular notation. Most students can take 2.34 times 10 to the negative fifth and make that into, that's not the problem. The problem is when I ask you to do an operation with those. That's where the problem comes in. So 90% of students can do these. So I want to go ahead and get that out of the way because a lot of students, when I start teaching this, I didn't turn my video off. When I start teaching this, they say, oh, I understand. I know how to do it. Okay, yeah. No, you don't. Because most students know how to do these. They don't know how to do 2.0 times 10 to the fourth times 15.0 times 10 to the third. They don't know how to do that. Or they halfway know how to do it, but they can't finish it. Or 40 times 10 to the third divided by 2 times 10 to the first. Or 20 times 10 to the fourth plus 30 times 10 to the fourth. Or 40 times 10 to the third minus 20 times 10 to the third. These are the ones that students suck at. Okay? So most students can do these, but the ones students really suck at are these. So my job is to make sure y'all know how to do all of it. And the first step is you got to know what the definition of scientific notation is. Placing the decimal to the right of the first number greater than 0. So, with that being said, and with you, hopefully you know how to do all of it, but if you don't feel pregnant because a lot of people don't know how to do these bottom ones. Okay? So, let's take the first one, 0.009. 0.009. First thing you do, is you move the decimal. Which way do we read? We read from left to right. So the first number greater than 0 is 9. So that's where we need to put the decimal. So 1, 2, 3. 9.0 times 10 to the blank third power. Notice I didn't say left or right. The only thing I said was blank 3, and I don't know why all those. There. Okay? All right. I put a blank 3 there, and now I'm going to ask myself, and I'm going to put this in red because you need to do it mentally. Mentally. And I'm going to do this on all of them. Ask yourself this question. Which way do I move this decimal in my head mentally to get original? Look at that decimal right there. Now, which way do I move that decimal to get it look like this? That's the original form. Which way do I move this decimal in my head to get it to look like this?
To the left.
And left means negative. And your final answer is 9.0 times 10 to the negative third. Now, when I show students how to do these first 4, I always get a student, oh, well, I had a teacher tell me that if it's negative, if it's a small number, it's going to be negative, and if it's a large number, it's going to be positive. Well, that's good for these first 4 problems. That's good for these. But when you get to this, it screws it up. So don't learn patternization. Patternization does not work in mathematics. Only unless you're doing sequences. That's about it. So let's do the second one. 10.442 or 10,442. And the decimal is right there because it's a whole number. And I'm going to put it right there. Because we all read from left to right, and the first number greater than 0 is 1. So I'm going to put it right there. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1.0442 times 10 to the blank 4. Which way do I move this decimal in my head to get it to look like this? To the right. And that is a positive. So therefore, your answer is 1.0442 times 10 to the 4th power. And again, most people know how to do this. Hopefully you don't say, well, if it's a very small number, it's negative, and it's a very big number, don't do that. All right, let's do this one. 2.04 times 10 to the 3rd. Well, that means this is positive, so I've got to move this decimal. What does positive mean in mathematics? To the right or to the left? Means to the right, Hubert. That's right. 1, 2, 3. So there's my new decimal, and that means 2014. .34 times 10 to the negative 5. So here's my decimal. Which way I got to move it? Well, if positive means right, what does negative mean?
Left.
Left. Thank you. Appreciate y'all participating. 2.34. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if nothing's there, you plug in zeros. So the answer to this question is 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And again, a lot of people can do these 4 problems, and that's good. I'm glad. But that ain't where you're going to have problems. So let's go ahead and take this page off and address the other 4 problems that we had. Anybody got a question on those? Okay. All right. So the first one we had, I'm going to do the adding and subtracting first because they're easier. And you just got to worry about. So the first one, is 20 times 10 to the 4th plus 30 times 10 to the 4th. This is just like addition and subtraction is just like terms. What's like terms mean? If they match, everything's good. If they don't match, everything's not good. Now, I did these intentionally because you're not going to end up with the answer you think you are. So these, I've got my handy dandy highlighter. I got me a handy dandy highlighter in the bin. Where is it? There it is. These are what?
Like terms.
They're like terms. Well, and you know in algebra, what is 2x plus 2x? 4x. So that would just come down. 10 to the 4th. 10 to the 3rd. And 20 plus 30 is 50. And 40 minus 20 is 20.
20.
Are we done? It's a 50-50 question. Are we done? Remember the definition of scientific notation. Are we done?
No.
No, we're not done. Because the definition of scientific notation says that the decimal has to be where?
Decimal.
Has to be to the right of the first number greater than 0. Which means that I have to put my decimal right here and right here. And this is where things get mixed up for a lot of students. So that's 1 hump, 5.0 times 10 to the 4 blank 1, 2.0 times 10 to the 3 blank 1. Which way in my head do I move this decimal right there to get it to look like the original state?
The left.
If I moved it to the left, that'd be 0.5. Which way do I move this decimal in my head to get it to look like the original state?
Oh, to the right.
To the right. That's a positive. Same thing here, to the right. And now your final answer to these two are 5.0 times 10 to the 5th and 2.0 times 10 to the 4th. And that's your final answer. So when you're doing these and you have like terms, all you have to do is just bring it down. Now, sometimes that 5.0, that 50 won't be 50. It'll be 5.0 and you don't have to do anything. But sometimes you may come out with a double digit or a triple digit number there. And if you come out with a double or a triple digit number, then you've got to move the decimal. And like I said, a lot of people can do this, and they can do this, but they write that down as the answer, and it's not the answer because it has to be in scientific notation. Question on that one?
Nope.
Now, what happens if you get one and you're adding and it doesn't turn out to be the same? Well, I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you what the rule is. So, 20 times 10 to the fourth plus 3 times 10 to the third. These are not the same. Okay, so we need to take a red marker and we need to highlight these right here because they are not the same. So that means you can't do the problem, so you just put cannot do it and you go to the next problem, right? No.
Nope.
Let's look what happens if we expand it. So that means the decimal is right here. So that's going to be 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 200,000 plus that 3, that decimal's right there. I'm going to do 3, 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 203,000. And I'm going to change that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2.03 times 10 to the fifth, say fifth power. And that's what happens when you have one that does it. You just have to go old school and do it. I'm sorry, school. I don't know where people get school from. School. I guess the same place they found Fount Ann on the Mount Ann. Y'all ever heard somebody say Mount Ann? Where do they get that from?
Yes.
Mount Ann on the Fount Ann. Old school. School. Whatever. Clemson. So if you have something that's different, you go over here and you say, well, I'm just going to go the old school way and do it. Capiche?
Yep.
I guarantee you somebody in here didn't know how to do these right here. I guarantee you. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to say anything. But I guarantee you there's somebody in here that went, I'm glad he showed me that because I really didn't know how to do those. I know, I'm fantastic. All right, so let's go ahead and do the hard ones. Let's do multiplication. Let's see, I said that was 2.0 times 10 to the fourth and 15.0 times 10 to the third. Okay, 2 times 15 and times 10 to the fourth times 10 to the third. So I just broke them up. And 2 times 15 is 30. And what do we do if the bases are the same and we're multiplying with exponents? What do we do with the exponents? I mean for y'all. You add the exponents. 10 to the 4 plus 3. So 30 times 10 to the 7th power. Ask yourself, are we done? No.
No.
Because the decimal is right here, and it needs to be right here. 1 hump, blank, 1. So that would be 3.0 times 10 to the 7 blank 1. Which way do I move this decimal in my head to get it to look like the original? To the right. And that's going to be 3.0 times 10 to the 8th power. Now make sure you know how to do these problems because this is the ones I put on the test. Multiplication and division. All right, let's do a division problem. And the division problem says 40 times 10 to the third divided by 2 times 10 to the first. 40 divided by 2 times 10 to the third divided by 10 to the first. 40 divided by 2 is 20. And what do you do with exponents if the bases are the same and you're dividing?
You subtract.
Thank you. So 20 times 10 to the second power. Of course, that decimal is right there. You move it one place. That's 2.0 times 10 to the 2 blank 1. And move it to the right to get the original. That's positive. So our final answer is 2.0 times 10 to the third. Now, what did you actually do? You actually took 4, 1, 2, 3. You actually took 40,000 and divided by 20. That's what you actually did, which would be 4,000 divided by 2, which is 2,000. There's 2.0. 1, 2, 3. And they're equal. So this is old school. And this is scientific notation. And of course, when you get into chemistry and you get into biology and you're talking about bacteria or you're talking about, you know, the things you talk about in chemistry that I try not to remember, you're going to be dealing with very small and very large numbers. And it's easier to do when you're talking with scientific notation than it is to have to deal with all them zeros. And that's how you do those 4 sections of, or not the 4 sections, those 4 types of scientific notation. Now, let's look at some of the questions they may give you. And I will tell you if they are test questions or not. So let's take off our, let's make this small, move that over, pull up our handy dandy. That's not what I want. Pull this up here. Oh shoot, it's the wrong place. Assignments, it's done logged me out.
I hate when it does that.
Well, ain't much you can do about it. There we go. And this is 3B or 3B.
Yes.
Should be 3B.
Yes.
Well, as soon as it pulls up. I just wonder if y'all are going to get a survey from Tri-County Tech about the second part of the semester. I wonder if y'all are going to get some kind of evaluation or something about it. I'd love to be able to read them. Okay. Why is... Thank you. Assignments. 3B. Yeah, you don't have very many. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 questions, something like that. 17.
Yeah,
Let's look at the
17.
first one. The first few are going to be like those 4 that I showed you. Change the scientific to a regular. Well, I don't care nothing about those. Those are English questions, definition questions. So y'all can, let's get to the nitty gritty. Good gracious alive. I've seen about 10 to the 50th commercials. I hate that emu commercial. Emu commercial. I cannot stand that commercial. I turn it whenever it's on. All right. Anyway, they're doing unit conversions, and that's good. I like that question. Decide whether the statement makes sense. The statement makes sense. Yeah. And they're multiplying through by, they want you to multiply it through. Then the statement does make sense because that's a BA number. I think it's a little bit too big because you're talking about 10 to the 50th probably does not make sense. Because 10 to the 50th, that's a little bit too much. I mean, you don't have 50, that's 49 zeros. I think that doesn't make sense. And then you would go through and do the math, and you're talking about a lot of math. Let's do that. Let me pull up my handy dandy do-jigger. There we go. And let's go ahead, and I'm going to write everything out in scientific notation. All right? 10 to the 50th over, and that's going to be, or I'll do everything outright. Minutes over, okay, minutes. Now that may make sense. Okay, let's go ahead and see what kind of answer we're going to get. Multiplied by 1 hour over 60 minutes. Multiplied by 1 day over 24 hours. Multiplied by 1 year over 365 days. Let's see what cancels. The year cancels. No. The days cancel. Hours cancel. So it's going to be
the minutes cancel
per year. So it's going to be 1050, 10 to the 50th over 6.0 times 10 to the first. Excuse me, I got the corona. 2.4 times 10 to the first. 3.65 times 10 to the second. Did y'all see on the news where they're finding out that China was fiddling around with this virus and accidentally let it go? I told you. I told you. People don't listen to me. That's all right. All right, so I'm going to multiply the bottom. And that's going to be 6 times 2.4. 6 times 2.4 times 3.65. I got 52.56. 52.56 times 10. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is what? To the fourth. Now 10 to the 50th power, what does 10 to the 50th power mean? Just take your calculator and
10,
type
50
in.
times.
Take your calculator. I'm doing this for a reason. Well, if I can get it to work. 10 x to the y 50th power. 1.0 times e to the, so you just 1 times, hey, we got a division symbol. Yay! So that'd be 1 divided by 52.56 times, what's 50 minus 4? 46, Hubert. Thank you, class. Now, what is 1 divided by 52.56? I got 0.019. 0.019 times 10 to the 46th power. Now, is that in scientific notation?
Yes.
No, it is not. Because what is the definition of scientific notation? Decimal to the right of the first number greater than what? 0. So the decimal goes right there. Uno, dos. So that'd be 1.9 times 10 to the 46 blank 2. Which way do I move this decimal, right? I'm sorry, this decimal right here to get it back the way it was? That's to the left. So that's going to be 1.9 times 10. I'm going to have to get me some sticky stuff to put on the bottom of this. 1.9 times 10, what's 46 minus 2? 44. Which comes out to be 1.4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 44. I don't care how many. That'd be 43 zeros. Do you think you watch that many commercials in a year? No. So let's put in our handy dandy, what I get, 1.9. And okay, write this down. In your homework, do not hit X. You hit Shift 8. Shift 8. The asterisk. 10. Shift up. Arrow. And 44. And I don't know what this says. What does this say? That'd be, what do we get? Years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That don't make any sense. Too much. There's no way. We got it right. Now, I don't like that as a test question. I like it as a homework question because it does the unit conversions, and then it does that's a good question to get ready for the test. If you can do that question, you can do scientific notation. All right, let's look at some other questions. Okay, decide whether the following statement makes sense or does not. Explain your reasoning. I live in an apartment building that is 200 feet tall. Yeah, that makes sense. Because the Peachtree Plaza in Atlanta is 73 stories tall, so that's 73 times 10, that's 730 feet. So that's possible. I don't really care, but that's not a test question. I'll tell you what that is, though. That's a standardized test question. That first one we did was a standardized test question also. Where's the ones that they just had? There we go. So this one is a standardized test question. And I could give you this on so write that one down. Convert each from scientific to ordinary. There's 4 test questions right there. Okay, so write those down. You should be able to do it. I'll do the first one with you. but this isn't the one I want to get to the ones that I would pick and I would flood the test with. 3.0 times 10 to the 7th. So I got to move this decimal 7 places, and since there's nothing in front of it, that's a plus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Dang old 30 million. So you type in 30 million and check to see if that's the answer, and that's how you do those. Now remember, I told y'all. Oh, I got to write it out. Comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now those are the 4 questions I told y'all would know how to do. So let's move on. Next, they're going to ask you to do the other direction. Change the decimal or whole number into, I'll do one of these with you. So let's do the first one. 2,100,000. Decimals right here. I got to move it to right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2.1 times 10, blank 6. Which way do I move it to get it to look like this? To the right?
The left. Yeah.
Okay. So there is your answer. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one. That's a standardized test question. You may see one of those on the test, just like the one before it, but that ain't what I'm looking for. Do the following operations. There we go. That's the one I'll put on the test right there. So let's do that one with the last few minutes we got left. I'd like to do a word problem because I know they probably have a word problem in here somewhere. 2.2 times 2 is 4.4 times 10 to the 2nd times 10 to the 9th. Well, this one comes out to be nice. 4.4, and what's 2 plus 9? 11. Now, you can't do the other one. You're just going to have to do it old school because it doesn't have like terms. So, 8 times 10 to the 5th, that's 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, 5 zeros. Okay, plus 2 with 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be 820,000. And that would be 8.2 times 10 to the 5th power. What's 8 divided by 4?
2.
8 divided by 4 is 2. And 10 to the 9th divided by 10 to the 6th is 10 to the 9 minus 6, which is 10 to the 3rd. Okay, now that's a test question. So make sure you can do that test question. I want to do one more, maybe a word problem. So that's number 19. So make sure you make a note on number 19. Let's see how many is on there. Number 19.
You have a work email.
Okay, so diameter of a certain bacteria, change that. That could be a test question just because it's got some words with it. But you change that, it's going to be 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3.0 times 10 to the negative 8th power. 3.0 shift 8, 10, shift up, arrow, negative 8th power. I want to get to one that's going to ask you to use your noggin. I don't really care about estimation. Oh, look. The number of times the average person heart beats in one day. Make an order of magnitude, a quantity estimation. Well, I don't know how you're supposed to know the number of times the average heart beats in a day if you don't know how much the heart beats. Well, 72 is your pulse. So 72 times, if you've got a pulse of 72, then I'm going to do 70. Let's say you got a pulse of 70. 70 times, is it a day? 24? 70 times 20. So I'm going to do 70 times 20. 72 beats per, is it per minute? Yeah, that'd be 72 beats per minute. So 70 beats per what? 1 minute?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do, y'all just going to have to be, we're just going to make class a little extra today. Times 60 minutes over what? 1 hour? And how many hours in a day? 24 hours
24.
in a day. And I think that's it. Yeah, beats per day. So hours go out, minutes go out, beats per day. So that's going to be 70. I'm going to change this to 20. So that's going to be 70 times 60 times 20. So that's going to be 7.0 times 10 to the first, 6.0 times 10 to the first, 2.0 times 10 to the first, and that's going to be 7 times 6 is 42. 42 times 2 is what? 84 times
84.
10 to the third, and 84, 1, 2, 3, 84,000 beats per day. So which one says 84,000 beats per day, roundabout? The number of times the average person heart beats in a day. Oh, there's the answer right there. Dang. It'd either be A or B because they're giving you the answer. Why do they do that? You need to put that in the dang question. Okay, it's either A or B. Why? Because it gives you what to calculate. I didn't know that. You type in that 10 seconds goes up here, or that 5 seconds, whichever one equals. It's going to be A or B. Well, I don't like that question at all. You're going to have to actually do each one. You're going to have to do with 10 seconds, with 5 seconds, 1 second, and 1 beat per minute. You're actually going to have to do 4 questions. You're going to have to plug those 4 in. I don't like that question. What they should say is, assuming your pulse is 70 beats per minute, how much does your heart beat in 1 day? That's what they should say. Not go read each answer and type in each answer. That's not a good question. Let's move on. I don't like that question. That's not a test question. As I say, they're doing the same thing here. You're going to have to basically type in each one of those. Not type them, but you have to do scientific notation and unit conversions. Use the table to determine how many average candy bars an adult would have to eat to supply the energy for 6 hours of running. Energy released by metabolism.
end on secure
Good gracious,
channel.
people. Average candy bar energy needed for 1 hour of running. 6 hours of running. And this is 1 hour, so they would have to do what? 6 times 4.4 times 10 to the 6. Using the data in the table to determine how many average candy bars an adult would have to supply energy for 6 hours. So energy needed for 1 hour, I'd multiply that by what? 6. I still don't get this question. Use the table. How many liters of water would be required to supply the energy needs of country A for 1 year? Country A. Okay, we're not doing these. I'm not going to do those. These questions are not very good. Okay, we're just going to cut. Hold on, because I don't see any good ones. Okay, that one's okay. So let's go back. Leave 57, but I'm going to go back. Did I say 19 was the last good one?
Yes.
Right before that stupid heartbeat. So I'm going to take those off. If nobody's got into the homework, I can cut them off. Is that it? No.
One more.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so that's number, yeah. Number 10 through oh my Lord, how do I get out of this? Save. Yes. Come on.
Yeah, I have to do that too.
10 through 16. So let me go out of this. Course tools. Assignment manager. Take off 10 through 17. I hope it'll let me do it. If somebody's gone in and done it, then I can't do it. 10 through 17. Where is 3B?
Yes.
Edit. Ah, dog it. Well, they shouldn't have done it. Next, I'm going to copy it. Let's see. I need to go in and copy it. Leave. I'm going to change it while y'all are watching. So 3B, I'm going to copy it. Revised. Y'all do the revised. I'm going to put revised here. REVISED. Next. What I say, 10 through what?
16 or 17.
16. And that should be due on 21st. That's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. All right. So the new homework is on there. Let me go ahead and unassign this one. That's why I tell students not to go ahead of me. They don't listen. All right, change dates. No, I done did that. I'm doing one more thing. Grade book. Grade book. Change weights. Take off 3B. Took that one off. Omit. And give this one 6. There we go. Okay, so now y'all just work on that homework, and you should be ready for the test, okay?
Okay.
All right, do not forget, make sure you fill out your evaluations when you get them, not just on me, but on all your teachers. Make sure you do that. And make sure you go to Rate My Professor on all your teachers, because it's not about you, and it's not about your teacher, it's about other students in the future, okay? And it's been a pleasure. I'm not going to say it's been great, because it's been kind of a up and down semester, but y'all have a great one. And if you need anything, just text me, or, we can Skype or whatever, all right?
Okay.
All right, good luck, and finish everything, get it done. Don't wait till the last minute, Mr. Poor.